Let's say that you have a lot of work in your office and you would rather spend time doing more meaningful things. You have to start automating your task. And you have a free tool for it. Build automation without any programming. All you have to do is drag and drop the actions and you can automate basically everything. You built a robot kind of in this tool, and this tool's name is Power Automate Desktop. You would have this tool if you have Windows 11. Okay, so in this tutorial, I am going to show you how you can use Power Automate to basically do work for you. And it will be super fun because all you have to do is drag and drop the actions and provide some parameters. It does the actions for you. So in this example, we will be extracting information from a website. So what we would be doing is going to a particular website. In our case, we'll go to Study in Poland, where they have list of universities, and we want to get all these universities names in Excel sheet along with their links. Also, what we want to do is to go on each of these universities and on the next page get the address out of it and put it in Excel sheet as well. So we have universities, we have their links and their addresses. So we'll be building this automation, and let's get started with it. Let's get started by first opening Power Automate. So we are going to open Power Automate, and then here we have the Power Automate, and what we want to do is to get information from this website, which is Study in Poland. And here are the names of the universities, and as you can see, in each of the name is a link, and a further page opens with the further information about this university. So what we want to extract further is, let's say, the address. In your case, you could also extract the phone number and so on. But in this example, we'll be extracting the address. All right, so let's go back to the home page. We will start with new flow. We have to provide a flow name, so extracting data university uni, and it will take us to the interface where we will drag and drop the actions. It's getting ready. Okay, here we have the interface. Here are the actions, and what you have to do is just search the action and then drag and drop the action over here and provide the parameters. So what we will do first is to launch Chrome, and to do that, first we need to go to Study in Poland link, go to the home page, and we will launch Chrome. Chrome, launch new Chrome. You can also launch any other browser that you're using. It supports Explorer and Firefox as well. So we launch the Chrome, we drag and drop it over here. It's asking us for the parameters. The parameters, we want to give it a URL. We'll give Study in Poland. So this is the web page that it will open. We want to launch a new instance, and Windows take normal. Okay, everything is fine. Press save. Now the most important thing over here is that whatever this action is being done, the action is being saved in this variable. If we edit it, we see that action is saved in this variable browser. So anytime in the next action we want to refer to this step, we will use this variable browser and then refer to it. So if let's say we want to extract information from this website, we will use the variable browser, and then the Power Automate would know that you want this extract from this website. Okay, now the second step would be to extract data from web page. So we just write the word extract and it gives us already the actions which we can choose from. We want to extract data from web page, we drag and drop. Okay, so you see the parameters, first parameter is web browser instance, which is referring to the variable which stored the instance of launching the website browser, and these signs show that it's a variable. All right, so and now this action will run, it will extract data from web page and it will store it in this variable. So it will actually store it in this variable, or we could also store it in an Excel spreadsheet. We will store it in an Excel spreadsheet, and this is the variable that is pointing to this action. All right, before we will press save, we need to actually go to the website. As soon as we go to the website, this dialog box will open, Live Web Helper, and it will help us to tell Power Automate what information do we in fact want to extract. In this case, we want to extract the list of universities here. So to do that, we will and these red, if you would notice that as soon as I hover over the elements, it makes a red box. This tells that Power Automate would extract from this part. It would extract this element, and this is what we want to do. So there are two ways to extract. Either we could just highlight the whole list, but in this case we would not do that, because if you would take the whole list, it would take all the university names and put it in one Excel cell, and then we'll have a lot of trouble to separate them. What you want to do is to hover over one name, right click, extract element value, text. If you want to get the link, you have to go to href, but in this case we take the text. You see here we have the text. Let's take another one. Text. Now this is the most interesting about Power Automate. You see that we chose only two of them, but it automatically understood and took all the university names. So it's very smart in understanding what exactly do we want. And the green dotted lines show that this is the information that it's extracting. We can see that it formed a list over here with one column, but that's not it. We also want to get the links of these pages. So to do that, we again go to this name, right click, extract element value. In this time, instead of text, we want to take the link href. So if you see over here, we have two columns now, one with the university names and one with the links of these web pages. All right, we finish. Now what Power Automate would do is extract this information and put it in store it in an Excel spreadsheet. Save it. Okay, let's run this now and see if it's working correctly. I would just close all the other browsers that I have open. Okay, let's run it. Okay, so we have the web page opened, and now we will have an Excel sheet opened with the names of the university and their links. All right, so we see over here we've got the names of the universities and their links. Now what we want to do is to loop through each of these universities, each of these links, and get address and put it over here. So we have another column with the address of these universities. The address of these universities. And to do that, we'll go back to Power Automate. What we want to do is first to create a variable. We will name this, so the name of the variable is new variable. We can double click and change the name of it. I would just keep it new variable, new var. The value we want to provide the variable. So we want to provide 1. So next step is to loop through each of these links, because what we are trying to do here is to go on each university, and this page would open. This is the link that we have saved in our Excel. So it will launch a new Chrome with this link, and then we want to extract this information. But we want to do it for each of the link, the whole list in our Excel sheet. To do that, let's go back and we put for each loop. So for each loop, would run for each of the rows in this sheet. Sorry, before that, we need to actually read the Excel data that we have in this sheet. So first step would be to read from Excel worksheet. We drag and drop. We want to tell which Excel sheet we want to read from. So it's referring to the variable which holds this action. See, extract data from WebRage and put it in Excel. So this is referring to this Excel sheet. What we want to do, retrieve all available values from the worksheet. Okay. And this will be stored in Excel data variable. Let's save it. Now what we want to do is to use the loop for information which is stored in this variable as a table. This variable has the table of this column A and B. This all information will be stored in this Excel data. What we'll do is now use for each loop. We put it over here. All right, it's asking us which value do we want to iterate. We want to iterate through each of the row. But in this, which rows? In the table that we have information here, Excel data. So we will put, if you press select variable, we can choose the variable which has the information. You see here the type is data table. Yes, and save. So for each current item, for each row in this Excel data table, which is reading from the sheet that we extracted and put the information. Here, what we would do is now to launch a new Chrome with so it will launch a new instance of Chrome But with which URL? The URL that we saved in this Excel sheet over here. These ones. So each one of them. And this is in fact what we're doing. So instead of hard coding the URL, we will put current item, the row in which we are looping. But this row has 2 columns, and the link is only in column B. So what we'll do is we'll put column 2. So every time you want to choose a column from the table, this is how we do it. And because we did not provide any headers in the Excel sheet, it automatically stores it under, it creates a header column 2 and stores second column in column 2. That's why I've provided name over here, column 2. If you would have provided headers, we could use that name of the headers instead of column 2 over here. We put it between the quotes and the square brackets, and this should work. Okay, so what it's doing is for each current item in this table, it will launch a new Chrome with for that row's column B link. All right, but we just don't want to open it. We want to extract the address. So the next step would be to extract data from web page. We put it here. From which web browser do we want to take it? Now we will take it from web browser 2, which is the new one that is being opened. If you've seen the previous action, browser only is for the first instance of the home page. Browser 2 is the link that it will open. It's the one we gave from the Excel. What and where do we want the data to be stored? In a variable this time, not in a new Excel spreadsheet, because you want to write it in the same Excel sheet in column C. All right, before closing this extract data from web page, again we will go to the university, the website we want, and here again we have the dialog box open, the web helper. We go to first university. What do we want to extract here from? You can basically extract any information you want, text, gallery, and so on, but in our case we want the address. We hover over it. Sometimes we have problem to select. Okay, so we have extract element value, and you want to extract the text. You see we have green dotted lines, and in the web helper we have this, and we press finish, and we store it in a variable. And this variable data from web page is the variable which will store this information, and we save it. So a summary, what will happen? It will open the browser, extract universities and their links, create a variable, put it in an Excel sheet, this extracted information, loop through this, read from this Excel sheet, get the table, loop through this table, go to each university link in this table, and extract the address from each of these links. So it will keep running for all the lines. Now there's one last step left. And before that, it's always a good practice to close the browser when we launch it, because it will open for us almost, how many rows we have here? Almost 54 browser sessions will be opened. So it's a good idea to close it in the loop as well. So close browser, and we put it here. Which browser do we want to close? Browser 2. So this variable, browser 2. Okay. Now what we will do is, the last step which is left is to write this address into column C. To do that, we will go to command write, and we see write to Excel worksheet. We drag and drop it over here. So we drag and drop over here and write to Excel worksheet. So what do we want to write? We want to write value to write. The value that we want to write is data from web page, right? That we have, yeah, data from web page. We have the link, the variable over here. And on which cell do we want to write it? We want to write it on specified cell. So which column? The third column. Which row? The first row. But look, so here's the thing. This was the reason we put a variable, because if we would put row 1, for each of these universities, it would keep overwriting on the first cell, because we've specified one cell to write all information, and we do not want to do that. We want it to write for each university the address in each row. To do that, we cannot hard code row. We will use the variable which we will keep increasing by 1, and we will use that variable here. So the variable that we created before was new var. We have new var here and save. But this new variable has just value 1, and each time it will run, the new variable will have 1. So it's kind of like hard-coded value. What we want to do is, for each of this current item, we want the new variable to increase by 1. So what we'll do is increase variable by 1. So we'll drag and drop increase variable. Which variable do we want to increase? New var. And we want to increase it by 1. So what will happen? It will write to Excel third column, new var which is 1, which we described here. So column 3, row 1 it will put, and then it will increase, and the next time this loop will run, it will write on row 2, then row 3, and so on. All right. Let's close the Excel sheet. Don't save it. And we close the browser as well. Let's run it and see if it works. Okay, so we see that there is some error. It was writing, in fact, the address, but it stopped at one point. Probably this university did not have the address. So we ran into an error. So when we have an error, we press close. It identifies us which step had the error, in fact. And what we'll do is we'll edit. So before that, we will provide let's say we go for edit. On error, what do we want to do? We want flow to continue and go to the next action. Go to label, in fact. But we did not provide any label yet. So what we'll do is first we'll quickly create a label and we will drag and drop at the end over, or maybe over here. The label could be go to next. Next. The reason I put before increasing variable is that let's say there comes an error and there is no address. If it would move, it should still increase the variable because we want to skip that row. So we need to put it before the increase variable action. And so we want to go to extract information, edit. On error, we want to continue flow run, go to next action, no, go to label. And which label do we want to go to? Go to next. Okay. Now we'll run it again and hopefully this time it would work. So we'll close the Excel sheet. Don't save. All right. Now let's run it one more time and let's see. So our automation has ended and we see the Excel file here that it produced. We see that we have the university names and their addresses in one Excel sheet. So similar steps you could use to extract information from different websites. The procedure is somewhat similar. You can use this method to extract from any website which has links. So the whole point is to launch the browser, use extract information, set a variable, put it in Excel, and then reading and looping through that table. And you can extract almost anything from that website. So in next example, next video, we would be using the Excel sheet that we produced here. We would be taking the data from here and putting it somewhere else. Let's say our boss told us to get universities and entered them into some internal software or in some form. And in next video, we would be doing that.